What's going on, guys? This is what I'm hoping is going to be the last video I have to make for a long time to get you guys informed on the goings with the situation. So, a couple things. Earlier this week or last week, Brad brought up a question: are we allowed to hunt the 86 acres that uh, the kid's going to be taking from us, however you want to put that? Um, I reached out to Wise to kind of discuss it, and I think the best way to go about it is to go ahead and just relinquish it now, because I want to get something in writing, or I got something in writing. The only way to do that was to go ahead and say, okay, from here on out it's his, give me a lease in writing, which I'm happy to let you guys know I received earlier today. I read through it pretty quickly. I've asked them to add an addendum about the blackout dates, because that was not stated in the lease, which if I can get them to put it in writing, I'm going to. Not that I don't trust him to stay to his word, but I would feel much better about it if they would put it in the lease. So I replied to the leases and contracts lady over at Wise Batten, and I don't expect I'll hear back from her today, but if we can get in writing, I'm going to. If for some reason they refuse to, I'm still going to be moving forward. All that being said, once we get the discount from, I shouldn't say discount, once they remove the cost of the 86 acres, we're going to be landing pretty close to where we were at the cost for the lease for last year, and then we're going to have less than one membership. And the way the lease is structured is, this year we're going to be paying 24,000 in change, in the mid 24,000s, and then the next 2 consecutive years are listed on that lease. So it's a 3-year pay schedule it's a 1-year lease that discloses the next 2 consecutive years. So next year and the following year, so let's just say 2026 and 2027, it's going to go up to 25,000 and change. So not like a huge increase, all manageable, which I'm happy to see. So for all intents and purposes, we have the next 3 years laid out cost-wise for us. There's still some stuff to be ironed out with this whole 86-acre situation to be taken away from this, which Wise and I have both agreed that's best in person, so we can drive and walk the property. I want him to either make X amount of yards in from the wood line, or in from the transition from pines to hardwoods, right there between 14 and 10 and 11, where it shows his property kind of cutting in there. I want him to make it a set yardage from, that the edge of that hardwoods in, so we don't have to worry about saying, well, this is the wood, this is the property line, he came across it, we came across it. I don't want to run into that situation, so I'm trying to kind of head that. And the way we've agreed to make that work, if there's any adjustments, because that's just an arbitrary line that he wrote in a mapping software to come up with the acreage. If we end up, if that 86 acres grows or shrinks, we're just going to catch that next year. So in order for us to get the lease signed this year and get everything moving forward, and get everything kind of locked in, which is what I'm trying to do, we're just gonna, so if, for example, if I can get him to agree to say, hey, the edge of his property is going to be the edge of the hardwoods, or 20 yards into the hardwoods, he's going to have to go back and redo that map and find out what the acreage is. And if it ends up being, 70 acres instead of 86 next year, we're going to have to pay for, the extra 16 acres that we had this year. So just little details like that. He has not agreed to putting a gate right as you leave the dike to wherever our property starts and his stops. So that's something that we're going to bring up. He's not super crazy about the location of the stand we just put up, since it's shooting straight back at the pond, and they fish the pond, and they're going to have basically full access now. They don't have to, be concerned about when hunters may or may not be on the property. So even if he's not there hunting, he might be in there fishing, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to try and keep the stand where it's at. I think there's enough of a curve in the road there that I can talk him into it. Maybe we can adjust it to where it doesn't shoot down that road and it only shoots up through the pines. That's another conversation I'm going to have with him. This is all just little details of everything I'm trying to work out with him. Just trying to keep you guys informed. Maybe you don't need to know it. Maybe you don't care. Maybe you're sick of seeing my face. I don't know. I'm just trying to do my best to keep everybody in the loop as to what is going on. That way, down the road, you guys don't accuse me of not keeping you in the loop. Just trying to head off possible issues. That's all. So if I'm rambling on here, I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to get the information out to you. But that's the basic gist of it. All that being said, I think I would like to land at, doing the numbers, if we could go from $2,200 to $2,300 this year. And then my hopes are maybe that's kind of enough money to where we don't have to do a rate increase next year and the following year. Probably should be about 24 to account for that, but I think nice middle ground is 23. And I don't want to hit you guys all at once. I'm not sure where we're going to land at, like budget wise, if we're talking about this. We made it through last year between running the feeders and not being crazy dump corn on the ground. We made it last year. We have a surplus of money. There's still money in the account. Not a lot, but there's still money there, which normally this time of year, the account's kind of tapped out. So, and that's not including the money that I've set aside to pay back, or to pay Mickey for the load of corn that we got that we never paid him for. And don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure I set aside enough money in cash, in an envelope up there to pay Mickey back for the load we owe him and get a new load, and there's still money in the account. So that's all good. But moving forward, I'm thinking about, this year the lease is going to be about the same cost as it was last year, because it did go up to what we had agreed upon with the lease with the landowners when we were dealing with them directly. But we also lost the acreage, so we're not seeing much of an increase this year. But we're also not filling that spot from Keith getting out. So we're going down to 14 members. So financially, I'm not sure how it's all going to play out. I think that's best this year. Let's just say 2,300 and see where we land. Hopefully maybe we can carry some of that money over again. But there's so many things that are dependent on whether or not. I think the reason we had money left over this year had a lot to do with corn going down. If you think about 2 years ago, we were paying, $800 for a load of corn, and this year we went back down to $600. That adds up. We get enough corn, that there's $1,000 that can be accounted for right there really quickly. Actually, probably more than that. So I think that's it. So I'm going to close this out with saying, unless I get a huge pushback from you guys as a collective, let's go to $2,300 for this year. Hopefully, we'll try to carry that over for the next 2 years after this year. and get it out to me ASAP, since I'm pushing this whole getting a lease in writing thing. It's kind of changed the normal renewal date, because I want something in writing, because I want to get this locked down. I don't want it to be out there in limbo anymore. And in order for that to happen, we're gonna have to pay the lease at a different time. So he's gonna change the renewal date to the end of this month, the 31st, I believe he said. He'll work with me, if I need a little bit more time. But if I get everybody to put a check in the mail, I'll try and include my address again, make the checks payable to me. I'll try to include all that in a text. And if we could just get it all in ASAP. If you can't get it out, please don't dilly-dally around. If you're going to say, hey, I need a little time, or I can only send $1,000 now, and then I'll send you $1,000 or another $1,300 a month from now. I'll work with you guys if you need that, as long as I'm not coming out of pocket to cover the lease. But we always have a little bit of excess, so I'll work with anybody that needs to be worked with. As long as everybody doesn't need to be worked with. All right, that's all I got for you guys. Again, any questions, reach out. Today would be a great day for you to reach out, because I had a cancellation. So I've got a lot of free time today that I don't normally have. So hit me with your questions today, because the next few days are going to be busy as hell for me. That's it. Looking forward to it, guys. I appreciate everybody hanging in there and being patient and understanding with this whole situation. I know it's not ideal, but still got a good place. I'm happy to be there. I'm happy to have all of you guys. So, give me checks, and then we'll lock this thing down. See you.